Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the author of this best-selling book. It's called Loving Hard to Love Parents, his incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
All right, I am blessed that my mom and dad are still with me. They're retired happily in Waco, and probably the most loving parents I can ever imagine. I had an idyllic childhood, and so I cannot speak from personal experience about this subject, but Dr. Paul Chafetz is in the studio. He's a clinical psychologist, he's an author, he's a speaker, he's my friend. He wrote this best-selling book a few years ago called Loving Hard to Love Parents. So Dr. Chafetz, thanks for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here, Jeff.
Thank you. Well, I want you to go back to the early days. So you were visiting senior care facilities, and tell us the origin story.
I got to Dallas in 1982 after finishing all of my training in clinical geriatric psychology. And I started teaching half-time, first at TW and then UT Southwestern. The other half of my time I spent going into senior care facilities by referral to evaluate individual elders who seemed unhappy and who were behaving in a way that was disruptive. And I did this for 20 years. And I realized around 2015, 2016 that, so that was years later that I had this realization that in the vast majority of cases of these older individuals who were having trouble, they had actually always been a difficult person. You know, during those years of assessing older people in facilities, I always wanted to chat first with a relative to get some background. And I realized they usually told me that this person had long been difficult. So my book basically talks about two kinds of currently difficult elderly people. And by the way, that's a minority, just like in any age group, maybe 5%, maybe maximum 10%. They come in two flavors. Those who are long difficult and therefore made their now adult children's lives difficult when they were children, and those who are newly difficult because they've always been fine, but now they have dementia. So the long difficult ones probably had a personality disorder and still do, whereas the newly difficult ones were fine, but now have dementia.
We're going to pull up your website, and as we scroll on the website, I want you're a very popular speaker, so you speak to groups of all shapes and sizes. What's your favorite group to speak to?
Adult children. So people who are now in their 50s and 60s and have a parent in their 80s, and the parent is now dependent. They're not really fully independent in functioning. So the adult child steps up out of love, out of filial duty to help their parent get by. And that means more interaction. So if the adult parent, the elderly parent, has really difficult behaviors, it's really challenging for the adult child. So if the older parent is impossible to please, right, highly critical on a personal level, if they are impulsive and irresponsible with finances, for example, if they are intrusive, they show up at the adult child's house all hours that are inconvenient or call continuously, it's really hard. It's really hard.
All right, Dr. Chafetz, I love the cover of the book. We're going to put this on the screen so people can see this. This came out in 2017. Do you find that, we're talking about different groups of parents. If somebody is suffering from dementia, this could be a new mom or dad that the child had never met?
Correct. Correct. About a third of dementia sufferers become more difficult in terms of becoming irritable, for example, or uncooperative. About a third become nicer, and about a third really don't change very much in terms of personality. So other than losing their thinking ability gradually, there's not always a lot of change. So in a dementia case, it's relatively easy for the adult child to answer one key question, and that is, when mom or dad is behaving in a way that is difficult and unpleasant, is it because they are sick or are they bad? Right? And this is a key question. Is mom or dad sick or bad? If we decide that they're sick, it's easy to be patient with them and have compassion. If we take a position that they're being bad, right, then the answer is strict justice, and there has to be consequences and punishment for them. So it's a very fundamental question, a philosophical question that the adult child has to answer. And usually, if it's a case of dementia, it's easy to answer.
Okay, staying with dementia for a minute, what I know about this is you don't want to agitate the parent.
Right.
And so the tone of voice that you use is critical, isn't it?
It is. It is. Our goal with a dementia sufferer is that they be asleep at night and awake during the day. And when they're awake, that they are calm, content, cooperative, and connected. Right? And the facts matter less and less to them because they're losing due to brain damage, they're losing their ability to process facts accurately. So if the facts don't matter to them, I'm not going to worry about the facts either. They can believe anything they want. They can say anything they want. I just want them to be calm, content, cooperative, and connected.
All right, let's continue on that path for a minute. So the person is living in Plano, but they think they're in New Jersey. Just go with it?
No problem. No problem.
Just go down the road.
No problem.
Because correcting mom or dad is not going to benefit anybody.
Correct. Now, if correction works and the correct information sticks, great. But when you see that it doesn't stick, there's no point in running the experiment more than twice about will correct information stick. So I let them believe anything they want. And this is especially useful when it turns out mom or dad believes something and says things that are not only untrue, but hurtful, mean, cruel, right? So these can be very provocative. For example, a man will tell his wife, "You're cheating on me. You're seeing somebody. Why aren't we living together? Why'd you stick me here?" It's important for the spouse to learn the skill of how to avoid pointless confrontation with an irrational person. And I call this Dr. Paul's famous two-part recipe for avoiding pointless confrontation with irrational people. The first ingredient is to be vague about facts, right? Do not engage in reasoning and reminding, arguing. And the second ingredient is to express empathy for the other person's feelings, right? So he says, "You're cheating on me. You're seeing someone else." You'll say, "I'm really sorry you feel that way. I can tell you're upset. I don't blame you at all. That makes sense to me. And, let's go have lunch."
All right, so Paul, I imagine that a child of a difficult parent can take two routes. They can either model their parent or they can be the opposite of their parent.
Luckily, I find that the vast majority of people are well-adjusted. They do not recreate the pathology of their parents. They know how much pain the parent caused, and they resolve to be better people and better parents, better spouses. It's very inspiring, really, to see how many people do a really healthy job of this.
And when you wrote this book, I'm going to say this because I'm a newsman. This is a groundbreaking book. I don't think there was a lot of books out there when you wrote this one.
I think there actually are.
Are there?
But I like mine the best. A lot of them are filled with anecdotes and stories that I consider fluff, and just maybe this is just professional jealousy. I don't include many examples in here. Rather, I talk about 30 specific tools, 10 concepts to empower your mind, 10 insights to comfort your heart, and 10 skills to guide your actions. So it's really a how-to book. So the book presents the acronym CODOP, for children of difficult older parents. I had grandiose dreams that it was going to become the new NIMBY or some other well-known universal acronym. It hasn't, but that's okay, because I believe it's a book that has enduring value.
Okay, so as an author myself, I know when you're writing a book, you're there and you're alone and you're saying, I think these ideas are important. And then when you go out and you start speaking, you get validation. What are some comments that you've gotten on the book over time?
The most gratifying sort of comments, I get many, thank goodness. The most gratifying is when a patient, an adult child who's consulting with me about this issue, comes in and brings their copy of the book, and the book's all marked up. It's all yellowed and highlighted and underlined. That tells me that I was able to pull together some information that was really, really useful. And I have to say, I didn't make anything up. Nothing in the book came out of my brain. I just accumulate. I collected all of this wisdom from the many hundreds of families I've worked with. They had to figure it out on their own. So I just systematized it and brought it together in a book.
And Paul, I know you have a thriving practice, so people could go out to Amazon right now and buy the book. How does somebody know when they need to actually consult with you?
Well, I'm in Dallas, Texas, so for Texas residents, I'm available virtually, and for Dallas folks, I'm happy to see people in my office. I think there's an incremental benefit to doing this in person. A consultation starts with me really learning the story, validating the legitimate distress that the adult child faces. It's a hard spot to be in. And then we get down to identifying the new skills they need to learn, they've never needed before, and help them through talking to practice those skills.
Outstanding. We've only got a minute left, so final thoughts. What do you want to leave people with?
It's a great honor to visit with you, Jeff. I'm honored to let everyone out there know about the book. If I can be useful at all, if my book can be useful, I hope you'll pick one up on Amazon or give me a call. I'm here to serve.
Outstanding. We're going to end with his website so you can get in touch with him for all your speaking needs. PaulKChafetz.com. The great Dr. Paul Chafetz. Thanks for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.